Hi there, and welcome again to me, Audrina Lane, reading Where Did Your Heart Go? And I know I left you on a slightly emotional note last week, and I'm afraid it's not going to get any better this week, so let's get started on chapter 41, Hankies to the Ready. Tears rolled down Charlotte's cheeks from reading her mum's words. She hoped that when her mum set eyes on James again next weekend, sparks would fly and reunite them. Charlie flicked through a few more pages of entries. Some dates were left blank, and some had miserable face drawn on them. Dear Diary, Saturday the 24th of December, 1988. It's Christmas Eve, and usually a time I enjoy, but not now that I'm alone. After a lie-in, I went to Hereford for my radio show, realising that I at least would be at home with my family, unlike the many children who were spending it on a ward. Jack was still trying to cheer me up, unsuccessfully. Once I let him know I'd split up from James, he seemed to be trying so hard to fix me up with various friends and acquaintances. Even though I told him I needed space and time, in my mind I knew I might never recover. This was terminal. Before my show ended, Mark popped his head in. "Hi Jack, fancy a pint after work? You can come too if you like, Stephanie." "Sounds like a great idea," Jack said. "I'll pass, thanks. I need to get home," I replied, knowing my company would hardly be cheerful. "OK, catch you later, Jack. Have a good Christmas, Steph," Mark said. "You know, I believe that Mark quite likes you," Jack said, turning to me. "Get out. Anyone would think you were Cupid," I scoffed. "I might ask him later in the pub." "Well, carry on, as you know my answer will be no." Once I was home, I walked in to find an envelope on the hallway table for me. It looked like James's handwriting, so I opened it to find a Christmas card inside. Nothing special, no girlfriend emblazoned on it, not even a "Love James" at the bottom. Just "Fond regards." What was "fond regards" supposed to mean? They were nothing but words on a page. I ripped it up and put it in the bin. Even under the stream of water I couldn't let go of my memories, as I remembered the times we'd spent soaping each other, giggling and laughing until the suds were everywhere. His fingers on my body, mine on his. I shook as emotions filled my body, and I wished again that my life had turned out differently. Perhaps one day he would change his mind and come in running back into my arms. As the shower spray fell on my face, it was joined by more tears. Trying to be cheerful and normal all the time was really exhausting, because all I wanted to do was climb into bed and go to sleep, and wake up when everything felt better. Or better still, not wake up at all. The darkness of my depression was like a stormy sea, threatening to drown me at any moment if I stopped treading water. Sunday the 25th of December, Christmas Day. My grandparents were saying, so it was great to wander down into the kitchen in the morning and find Nan making coffee and Gramps reading the newspaper. "Morning, love," Nan said. "Merry Christmas." She reached over and dropped a kiss on my cheek. "Is that gorgeous boyfriend of yours going to be here?" "No, Nan, we split up. I thought Mum had told you." "He was such a nice young man," Nan said. Gramps looked up and smiled. "It's okay, Steph, your mum did tell her, but she seems to forget things really quickly these days," he said, returning to his paper. The day passed in the usual manner. Large roast dinner, the Queen's speech, followed by presents. I walked down the road and back before more food and a game of Monopoly. Whenever I could, I left the rest of them downstairs and headed for the security of my room. I sat down on my bed and put the mixtape into the stereo, which was kind of comforting and at the same time painful to listen to. But listen I did, as the memories of the past year filled my head, and I lay down and gave in to them. I took his letters from my drawer and reread all of them, except the last one he'd sent. Saturday the 31st of December, 1988. It's the last day of the year. In most parts it's been the best year of my life, and I should have been looking forward. But all I could do was remember the past and what I had lost. I was going out with Sarah, Chris, Jack and his new boyfriend Simon, and also Mark. These guys have kept me going since my breakup with James in November, Everyone had been so kind, even though I didn't really feel like partying, I was going to try my best to enjoy the day and night. Maybe move on. We went down for breakfast and saw a familiar cream envelope on the hallway desk, addressed to me. The writing looked like James's. We had agreed to stay friends, but we had only managed a couple of letters since. I struggled not to continually write the same things. I still loved him. I wanted him to come back to me, but all to no avail. I still felt that excited buzz of anticipation. Maybe he'd changed his mind as I raced to my bedroom. I opened the envelope and pulled out the thick card. As I did, the St. Christopher I had given him slipped out and fell to the floor. It glinted in the weak sunlight, shining through the curtains, and then I turned the card over and sank to the floor, my legs crumpling beneath me. In my hand was a wedding invitation to the marriage of Felicity and James. I felt dizzy with grief as I just let go of my emotions and howled from the pain. I thought my heart had already been torn apart the moment that James had driven away, but the hole left now ached so much it was unbearable. I must have laid on the floor of my bedroom for over an hour, pain disabling me, tears continually rolling down my face as they soaked the carpet. Mum shouted that Sarah had arrived, so I quickly gathered up the invitation and the necklace, pushed them under the pillow. I just had to get through tonight, and then tomorrow I could break apart. "Hi, Sarah," I said, trying to hide my red puffy eyes. Being a true friend, she pulled me close and hugged me, letting me cry some more. "I know tonight's going to be hard for you, but you never know. It's the start of a new year, and perhaps you'll be able to move on," she murmured softly. "I know," I mumbled, clinging to my best friend like she was the only piece of driftwood in the swollen river of my tears. When she let me go, I headed for the bathroom to shower and wash my hair. Sarah put the radio on and filled the room with happy sounds and waited for me to return. I let Sarah tie my hair up and apply my makeup, as I had no feelings left in me at all. I was just an empty shell to be painted upon. Who would want me ever again, I thought, as I looked into the mirror in front of me, seeing my lifeless eyes staring back, my makeup a mask that I could hide behind all night. I slipped into a new dress Mum had bought me for Christmas, as it held no previous memories, and then I sat on the bed while Sarah sorted out her own hair, dress and makeup. "Steph, what's it like when you don't see someone every day?" she asked, sitting down next to me on the bed. "Fucking hurts like hell," I said. "Why?" "Chris is going into the army and leaves for basic training on the 2nd of January, Sarah said. "How am I going to cope?" I bit my lip and wanted to be sympathetic, telling her it would be okay, but how could I? I was so jealous because she had someone to love and care about, whilst I was alone, lost and abandoned. But Sarah was my best friend, and I knew that good friends were hard to find. "It will be difficult, but just write letters and make plans for when you are together. And believe me, the times when you are together keep you going through the times when you're apart," I said, reaching over and squeezing her hand. "We're going to have a good time tonight," she said. "The best," I replied, trying to inject some enthusiasm into my lifeless voice. "Come on then," she said, pulling me up as Wham's "Wake Me Up Before You Go" came over the speakers. We danced around the room. For a brief moment, I felt alive. We heard Chris's car pull up in the driveway, and after a final application of lipstick, we were on our way into town to meet the others for drinks before we hit the club. The town was buzzing, and I tried to hide my pain behind a smile. Jack grabbed my hand as soon as we joined them and propelled me off to meet his new man, Simon. Mark soon joined us and offered a round at the bar, as we all got infected with the end-of-year vibe. And after a few different bars, we met up with some other friends who tagged onto our group, finally heading to the club. And there I'm going to leave it, and we will do chapter 41, part 2. So hang fire for 2 seconds, while I get the next recording on.